So you're filling out your Amazon seller account application. They ask what type of business you are, your legal business name, and then they ask for your company registration number. And this is where a lot of businesses get stuck, is that your EIN, your sales tax ID. If you enter the wrong number here, your seller account application will get rejected. This is by far the most common issue I see that causes businesses to have their seller account applications denied. In this video, I'll show you exactly what to enter in that company registration number field, what numbers do not belong there, including the one most businesses accidentally use, how to find the correct number on your state or country's website, what your state actually calls this number, and how to make sure it matches the registration extract document, which Amazon is going to ask you for later. One of the biggest reasons this field causes problems is terminology. Amazon calls it a company registration number, but almost no state or country actually uses that phrase. So, a business owner opens their formation documents and starts scanning for something labeled company registration number. They don't see it. Instead, they see, depending on their state, file number, entity number, document number, control number, ID number. None of those say company registration number. So they assume it must be their EIN, because that's usually the main number you enter in on all these tax forms and other business documents. And everything seems fine until Amazon reviews it. Now, after your application has been submitted, Amazon's system is going to check that number against the state database. And if it doesn't match, they will reject it. The issue isn't that this number is hidden or hard to find. Actually, anyone on the internet can find it. It's that Amazon uses a generic term and every state uses its own label for the same state-issued entity number. If you have an LLC or a corporation, the day that entity was officially created and registered, the government assigned it a number. That number stays with the entity for its entire life. It is not a tax number, it's not issued by the IRS, it's issued by your state's Secretary of State office, or the equivalent government authority in your country. It is not your EIN or your employer identification number. That's what everyone always wants to put here, even though it's not the right thing. It's not some kind of federal tax ID. It's not a sales tax permit number. It's not a resale certificate number. And it is not your DBA registration number. If you are using a DBA, keep watching. I'll explain exactly what to do in your situation later in this video, because you won't actually have a number that you can use. And of course, it's not your social security number. Amazon is not validating your tax accounts in this field. You will give Amazon your tax information later, but that's in a later step after your identity is verified. For this, Amazon is just validating your legal entity in the state or National Business Registry database. So, if you are about to enter your EIN, stop. That's the most common mistake. Now, let's talk about where to actually find the correct number. There are two main places you can find this number. The first is in your original formation documents. If you formed an LLC, you would look at your certificate of organization. If you formed a corporation, you would look at your articles of incorporation or certificate of incorporation. There will be a state-issued number assigned to your entity. You can kind of tell it's just an ID number based on where it is in the page. Here's another that's on a certificate of existence. If you don't have your original formation documents, you can find the same number directly on your state's business registry website really easily. Let me show you how to do that. This takes about 30 seconds once you know where to look. If you're outside the US, stay with me. I'll show the international equivalents in just a minute. First, I go to Google, and it doesn't matter what state it is. I just type in the state name and then business entity search. Now, I told Gemini to randomly pick a state, and it said Montana, so here I go. I type in Montana business entity search. You can see the first result is the Montana Secretary of State's website. Do make sure that what you click on is the official government website. There are a ton of third-party websites that will kind of just have you search for your business information, maybe charge you for it, or at least get your information. If you see that it has .gov in the URL, then it's a real government website. You can see here I have a little search bar, and I can type in the business name. Every state has a business search tool like this. You start by typing in your exact legal business name, not your DBA. And if you're only operating under a DBA, again, don't worry. I'll explain what to do in your situation later in the video. For my demonstrations, I usually use quality landscaping because I figure every state is going to have a business with that name. Now, a list of entities appear. Sometimes there are multiple businesses with similar names. Make sure you select your exact business that matches your exact legal name, not another person's business with a similar name. When you click into your business, you'll see the official state record. At the top of the page, you'll usually see the legal business name, the registered address, the entity status, and right here, this state issued number. It's usually very prominent. In this state, it's labeled as a filing number, and that's really common. I see a lot of states call these filing numbers. In another state, it might be entity number, document number, control number, or ID number. That's where most of the confusion comes from. So I've put together a chart of all 50 states and what each state calls this number. And coming up is one for other countries too. Here you can pause the video, find your state, and look for the term your state uses. Whatever your state calls it, that's what Amazon means by the company registration number. That is what you need to enter into this field in the seller account application. Now, if you're outside the United States, the concept is exactly the same. Every country has an official government department that registers legal business entities. When your company was formed, that department assigned it a registration number of some kind. For example, in Canada, this is your business number, which is often abbreviated to just BN. In the United Kingdom, it's your company's house registration number, or CRN. The terminology changes by country, just like it changes by state in the US. But the rule is the same. It must be the official government-issued company registration number assigned when your legal entity was formed. So, just like I showed a chart for all 50 states, I've also put together a chart for the 50 most common countries that sign up for seller accounts and what each one calls this number. I'll put that on the screen right now. Go ahead, pause the video, find your country, and look for the specific term your country uses. I was only able to include the 50 countries that registered the most seller accounts on this table. If you're still unsure what your country calls it, go to the official business registry website for your country, search the legal company name, and you should be able to find it. Later in the seller account application, Amazon is going to ask you to upload a document that is used, in addition to the government website, to verify this registration number. They refer to this document as a registration extract. Depending on your state or country, this is usually a certificate of organization or articles of organization if you're an LLC, your certificate of incorporation or articles of incorporation, a certificate of existence, or sometimes it's called a certificate of good standing, and there may be some other type of document that they have given you. Amazon uses this document to verify the information you entered earlier in the application. And the system checks three things: the legal business name, the registered business address, and the company registration number. Well, and I guess I should say 4 because they're going to check, it has to be an actual active entity. If it expired or something, it's not going to work. All 3 of those must match exactly to what you put in the application. If the name or address you typed into the seller application does not match the document, even slightly, the application will be rejected and you have to figure out the issue and submit it again. Now, let's talk about a different situation. If you are not using a registered business entity, meaning you do not have an LLC or a corporation, then you do not have a company registration number. If you are only operating under a DBA, that does not create a separate legal entity. A DBA is just a trade name. So, in the Amazon seller account application, you should not select that you are a business entity. You should select instead an individual, as shown here. If you choose that option, Amazon will not ask you for a company registration number. Now, that being said, I would actually recommend you stop, register an LLC in your state, get a bank account and credit card under your business name, and then start the application again using your LLC. It's a lot easier if you just set it up the correct way from the beginning. But if for some reason that's not an option for you, then yes, you just have to select I am an individual in this first step of the seller application. Now, what if you already selected the wrong option? Well, here's where it gets tricky. If you already selected the option saying that you're a business, I've seen it where Amazon doesn't allow you to go back and change that selection. Try it, see if there's any way it'll let you go back and select another option. However, if not, the only solution is to start the application over. That means you'll need to create a new seller account login, which will require a different email and a different phone number than you used before. Usually using another email is fine, but if you don't have another phone number available, I have a separate video where I show you a workaround using a free trial of CallRail so you can generate a temporary number and create a new login that you can use for the application as an LLC. If YouTube lets me, I'll put the little link in a card right here that'll pop out, but I'll also put the link in the description of this video. Now that you know exactly what Amazon means by company registration number and how to make sure it matches your official business record, there are several other parts of the seller account application that cause just as many delays if you're not prepared for them. In another video, I walk you through everything else Amazon is going to ask you during the seller account setup process, including all the documents you should have and all the information you need to have before you even start the application. You can click right here to watch that video next.